What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here and being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. What's up, guys? So listen, this Larry Reid character is so tiring to me. I've been getting DMs. I've been seeing things on the blogs. I have had even some things that I was going to talk about, and it's been several weeks. And honestly, I just haven't even really wanted to get into it because just the mere thought of him is draining. So just to kind of go back to kind of where I even found out about this gross, despicable human being was many years ago. He showed up in my YouTube feed, and I think he was doing some commentary about Juanita Bynum or somebody in the church world, right? And although I didn't find him funny, some of the things that he was talking about when it came to the person that he was discussing at the time, it was just kind of funny. I never subscribed to his YouTube channel, and then I guess because I had watched a couple of little pieces of his content because I couldn't really listen to too much of it because he's just long-winded and it's draining. It, would get recommended to me, but I still never felt the desire to subscribe or to, tune into his stuff on a regular basis. But I honestly thought initially when I listened to him that he was just a gay man that was doing commentary about things that were more so in the church world. That was my initial thought. So when I found out that he was lying, my personal opinion, lying about the fact that he is not gay and denying it, I was like, I don't like liars. So done, completely done. And I was subscribed to Tasha K for some time. And when they had done some content together and somehow connected in the content world, I was like, this is a weird connection to me, but okay, whatever. I wasn't really here for it or against it. It was just like, okay, whatever. That's their thing. They're doing business together, I guess. Okay, fine. But when Tasha K found out things about him, when it came to the allegations about him being, let's just put it like it was, him having sex with people who were in his church at the time, and whether the person was of the legal age of consent or not, it was a male member of his church. So you being the leader, you being supposedly the head nigga in charge, and you having sex with someone who is underneath you, and let alone a child of one of the women that went to the church, is foul to me. So the fact that anybody could listen to him and give him money, give him views, give him support, I just find it strange. But as long as the world exists, there are going to be people who make stupid, dumb decisions and bad choices, and people will always, there will always be people, I should say. But what somebody said years ago, there's a sucker born every minute. So there will always be people that will get linked up with people or in connection with organizations or churches or groups or whatever that are not good for them, that they should not be involved with. So laying all that out there, yeah, it's frustrating to me that people still follow this guy. But again, like I said, there's always going to be people that make bad choices and wrong decisions. So that's that. You have people that go to prison, and people know that these people are guilty of the crimes that they have been alleged to, tried, and convicted of committing. And they will be writing letters to them. They will be sending them money, putting money on their books so that they can get commissary, sending them naked pictures of themselves, all kinds of stuff, right? Because there are people that don't have their right minds about themselves. They will do this type of stuff. So all that being said, right, I got a DM earlier today from one of my supporters who sent me a screenshot from Lester Peltier. He's the guy that said that he was brought to the United States by Larry Reid and they agreed for him to be in a fake marriage so that Larry Reid could have easy access to the booty. That's what was alleged, right? And then he was interviewed by official King Payne. He was interviewed by Tasha K. He alleged that Larry Reid had the medically incurable, but now you can take drugs to be undetectable virus. And then later on, he didn't want to admit to it anymore and said he and Larry were cool. So I felt like he must have been paid off. Well, now he's basically saying that he is a victim of sex trafficking by Larry Reid, and that he's trying to get support so that he can take care of things in a legal way. And he apologizes and asks for people, if they can, to support him, apologizes for, what he's put people through, and he realizes that he was a role model. And I would say he probably was, because apparently he was a very successful, well-known soccer player. And some may say, well, if he's so well-known and so great, then why is he broke and asking Larry for money and pretty much gay for pay? I don't know. Some people are irresponsible with the money that they work for and earn and gain, and they lose it. And then they're desperate, and they feel like desperate times call for desperate measures. So they'll screw an ant-looking nigga like Larry Reid. I don't know. I don't suggest it, but again, like I said, some people make horrible, bad decisions in life, and that's just that's just par for the course. Well, listen, Larry Reid has been posted, and this is from the past, but it was posted on Tasha K's Instagram, and it said, Larry Reid fired from BET after admitting to child M with underage boys from his church. And it's a screenshot of a text message, and it says, I'm on West Coast, just received a call from production. They got calls from BET. Tasha K and others have been tagging them and calling them, and as a result, they pulled me from everything. They said they were hoping it would die down, but it went on too long as Tasha's audience keeps calling. Sorry, I'm laughing at that. I just let my lawyers know. Daryl, the original one that started all this, said 2 days ago he was going to keep calling until he gets them to pull me. This has paused me and probably pulled it. Don't share. Now, the Daryl he's talking about is Daryl, the cigar vlogger, is what he goes by. But yeah, Daryl's been on his neck for some years now. I know Official King Jives, they've had some they've had some back and forth, and Larry Reid is just gross to me. I can't even stand to look at his gross face. So I just had a reaction because the picture that Tasha K used on this Instagram post, to me, it looks like Larry's in a position that he loves to be in, where it looks like he's bended over, and I don't know if he likes to do the bending or he has somebody doing the bending for him. Either way, the picture and the look on his face is just like trash. He swears he looks good. I don't know, and I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and some people feel like God don't create nothing that's ugly, but to me, his ways are definitely grotesque, and yeah, he's a very unattractive person on the outside to me too. But with all that being said, right now he's making the rounds, going to different vlogs to talk about the situation. And from what I was recently shown, he is alleging that he is only being talked about by Tasha K, and he's claiming lied about, because allegedly there was some physical things between him and Tasha K, and he's gross. I know it's not true. I don't have to be there to know that. It's just like, because he is a liar, this is the type of person that he is. And the vloggers that he's going to talk about this stuff, they have similar feelings about Tasha K. They don't like her either. And yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like Tasha K for whatever reasons. But for anyone that tries to pit Tasha K in the same boat as this liar, Larry Reid, my personal opinion, are people who just don't like her because they don't like the Cardi B situation, or they feel like she's messy or whatever. But the thing about it is, those people who do those things, they don't really know the history. And I've said this over and over again. You go back and look at the history. You've got the woman who years ago Tasha K interviewed about the abusive relationship that she was in with Sean Combs. Can't remember her name at the moment, but that all turned out to be true. Years ago, people coming on her platform to interview with her about the things that were going on with R. Kelly. All of that stuff turned out to be true. Asriel Clary's father, they had some back and forth stuff, but initially, Tasha K was the platform that people were coming to put all of this information out there, and all of those things turned out to be true. And when Tasha K would find out that something wasn't quite right about these people, if it were so, because we know broken clocks can be right at least twice a day, she would call it out. So she wasn't just going to go along to get along. She would be like, yeah, I know I might have had them on my platform before, and we talked about this and we talked about that, and I let them share this and whatever. But no, when I find out this and that and the other, and you ain't right, then I'm going to call it out. So I just wanted to put that out there. People need to stop trying to compare Tasha K and Larry Reid, because it's simply not the case. Larry Reid is a foul demon. He uses black women, for the most part, silly women is what the Bible calls them, who are looking for a man, who are looking for a word, who are looking for a prophecy, and they will give this man money and support, and really, for whatever reason, believe that he's some sort of prophet. When, in my personal opinion, he works in some other stuff that might be working out for him right now, but ultimately those things don't wind up working out for you. He talks about sex with men, but yet he claims he's not gay. I don't know any straight man that talks about sex with men. Like really, seriously. And then V. Terrell Hill, who put him out last year, it was about a year ago at this point now, who really dropped all of the receipts about Larry Reid. There is nothing that Larry Reid could say that will make me not believe that man. And he recently came out and talked about the text messages that Tasha K showed on her Instagram. And he said that he was not the one that revealed those, that sent those to Tasha K, but said, yeah, Larry Reid, he's an evil person, and he is. I agree with V. Terrell Hill 100%. And for Larry Reid to say that he talked to his attorneys, and his attorney said, oh, you don't need to worry about that, when it came to Levontre Andrews, the young man who was in his church that Larry Reid allegedly M-worded. Like, really, just put that all into perspective, guys. He's disgusting. He's foul. And to say that he didn't have to worry about it legally because he was 16 at the time. Are you kidding me? If you had your child in someone's school and the teacher who was supposed to be teaching them, guiding them, directing them, was directing and driving his ding-a-ling up your son's butthole, like, I'm just going to be graphic with it like that. I just have to be. Would you be okay with that? So why in the world are people following him when he was supposed to be the leader of a church, and that is what he was doing with a young man who was in his church? And it's supposed to just be okay because he was of legal age. That's disgusting. And I've talked about the age of consent thing before, because a lot of times these men, whether they use it in the aspect of young women, or I won't even say young women. I don't even want to use the word women, because that is supposed to be for an adult. So whether they're using it for females or males, I'll put it like that. The age of consent thing is to cover people legally when ethically it's deplorable. Because you being however old he was at the time, having sex with someone who still is extremely immature, they don't really know what's going on, they don't know their right from left, and you are doing stuff like that with them, is just disgusting. But the women that continue to follow him, it's just, like I said, it's going to continue to happen, because as long as the world exists, there's going to be people who will subscribe to, follow, get in deep with these cults. And over time, sometimes people, they break out, they wisen up, they wake up, they get woke, they escape, they get away. And then, just like Jonestown, some people, they escaped, like just in the nick of time. Some people broke out of it years prior to what went down over there. And then unfortunately, some people stick around and they drink the Kool-Aid, and then some of them, they just get the jab because you're there. And it's like they feel like, oh, it's too late. So I'm just this situation with him, it bothers me so much, because I hate it's something about these people who claim to be godly. They claim to be hearing from God, speaking for God. They're having these ministries or these churches or these groups or whatever, and you're just foul. So whether it's taking advantage of people sexually, taking advantage of people monetarily, like I've been exposing some of that or talking about some of that recently, and I'm going to be doing more of that, it bothers me, especially when it comes to Black people, because we are the group that are so taken advantage of, so disparaged, just, discriminated against, hated, rejected, all of the things. And now you have somebody in the office of the presidency who is doing everything in their power right now to try to turn back the clocks on things that were put in place to be beneficial to us, to protect us, to serve us, and it's being stripped away. It's not right. But I want to thank Tasha K for keeping her foot on the gas when it comes to this situation, because some people may feel like, oh, well, that was from a couple of years ago. Why is she putting that out now? Why not? We need to keep that in people's remembrance, because when I talked about this lawsuit with T.D. Jakes suing the man that Larry Reid had on his platform and interviewed about T.D. Jakes attempting to kiss him and calling him while he was in a bubble bath to let him know what he wanted him to do with him whenever he came to town. And now he, and he tried to get him to pay him $6 million to not speak anymore. And it's just like, crazy, when he himself has been in situations where people came out and said things about him. So it's like, why would you even want to be involved with anything like that? Like, seriously. And he's been named as co-conspirator in that lawsuit. I didn't talk about it because I'm on T.D. Jakes' side, like a supporter of T.D. Jakes, or a follower or a subscriber or a member of his church or whatever. I'm just speaking from this perspective of, seriously, you of all people? And he had been coming for T.D. Jakes almost all of 2024. And I had talked about it a few times. It was just like, what are you really trying to do? It sounded like he was trying to get T.D. Jakes to break off a piece of that Potter's House bread to come in his direction. Because he had even insinuated that somebody from the Potter's House Ministries had reached out to him and was trying to make discussions about how can we just squash this, and would 500K suffice or whatever. And I just did not believe that. I still don't believe it. But like I said, of all people to be talking about something like that, he is the last one that should have been talking about it, let alone interviewing somebody. Why not give that interview to somebody else and let him go someplace else, and then maybe you share it or comment in the comment section. But I'm just saying, even not speak about it at all. He should be the last person talking about pastors or ministers having inappropriate sexual situations with people in the churches. And then the guy that he interviewed was a convicted felon for doing the same thing, or allegedly, that Larry Reid had done, but did not get to serve time for criminally, or had to pay money for, meaning by a court ordering it or ruling it, or it being a judgment. I don't know if he had given the guy any money to do, at any point in time. I don't know. But I'm just saying, this person is so far from God. Trust and believe, God don't have nothing to do with no Larry Reid or Larry Reid Live or anything like that, or honestly, anyone that is involved with him. He is a mess. Who would want to go to a church with somebody like him as a leader, where all it looks like he does is gossip about people in the church, people who are similar to him, taking boys and men on trips overseas to Dubai and places like that, going to other vloggers and talking about the different things that it's nasty work. Who would want to have him as a follower? It's weird. And then people paying for prophecies, subscribing to his Patreon and paying for prophecies. He's just weird. Making songs up talking about y'all niggas ain't on my level. Like, who would want to go to a church? Who would want to be led by a spiritual leader who would make songs like that? A song called Yatin. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. Yeah, I mean, you are nothing. Absolutely, you are nothing. You're the nothing that we're talking about. And so it should have been, y'all are talking about nothing, and the nothing is him. So that's what the Yatan, Y-A-T-A-N, should stand for. Y'all are talking about nothing, and he is nothing. Like, he really is nothing. And some people might say, well, if he ain't nothing, then why are you talking about him? I am shining the light on it because it bothers my spirit. It really does. Is it going to change people's hearts that follow him, subscribe to him, worship him, believe in him, support him? Who knows? All I can do is my part and say how I feel about it. And that's what I'm doing on my platform. I'm saying how I feel about it. Because I personally know that there are some people that he is hooked up with now in the vlogging sphere that really couldn't stand him. But now that person is getting attention from him, he is so-called a supporter of his. It's just ridiculous. These people, and these are the type of people that will be on live for hours and be online all the time. So it is what it is, Those are the people, they really need the money. They need the views. So it's like, by any means necessary, that's the type of stuff that they will do. So Larry Reid, I don't know if he admitted to it, but maybe the admission was, well, yeah, something did happen, and that was enough for them, because they don't want to be connected to anything like that. Period. For them to have to explain the situation like that to people, they don't even want to be involved with anything like that, or anyone that is or has been involved with anything like that. Seriously, he's not worth it. Who is he? He is nothing. So yeah, V. Terrell Hill, he's just like, he put it out there. He dropped all of the receipts and he has moved on with his life. And he's letting people know that Larry Reid is evil. He will always be evil. And Tasha K is not lying. I did not give her the text messages, but what it is what it is. And that's that. Oh my God, it's draining. This Larry Reid stuff is continuously draining, and it's like, hey, you're not tired yet. All this stuff comes out, and then you have to go and do these lives on other people's YouTube channels to try to explain stuff, and now you want to be slanderous towards Tasha and say horrible things about her and her body and all. It's just foul. It's foul. He has no place to be talking about anybody, let alone anybody in the church world. Because like I said before, I feel like the reason why he does focus on the people in the church world is not because he has experience in it. I feel like the people that he talks about is because, for the most part, a lot of those people have been able to achieve more success than him. So he's jealous of them. So misery loves company. He's miserable, and he wants to have those people be miserable too. He wants them to have hell to pay because he was unsuccessful with the church that he used to have. But he'll try to make it seem like, oh, I was setting myself up because I knew that things were going to be shifting online. So I got out of a church building and I moved it to online. And trust and believe, he would love to be in a place, in a building where people just came to him and they just gave of all that they could give and all the stuff and all the whatever. Because he also is a person of a certain age and he's used to that type of stuff. Miss me with the BS that you're trying to portray at this point in time. You want what those people have, and you're miserable. So, yeah, he got fired from BET on his day off, maybe, allegedly. But I still believe Lavontre Andrews. I will never not believe Lavontre Andrews. So, you guys let me know what you think about all this. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.